Well, there is was a reality show. It was called Adults Adopting Adults. And this was the most, and I'll tell you honestly, if you haven't seen this yet, okay, your best bet is type it into YouTube. Check out the other YouTubers who have done sort of a review of the episodes. This is the most cringing TV series I have. I mean, who greenlit this? Now, supposedly the show has been yanked, and there's been various reasons for this. Some people were saying because of what he said on TikTok was very racial. Others is for the actual content on the show itself. Now, the main premise of this whole show was a couple adopting I think she was a 20-year-old pregnant Austrian girl. Now, you may say to yourself, that sounds okay. That sounds okay. But when you hear from the couple, which is like, I think his name is Danny, when you hear how he talks and with his wife, it sounds like they're hiring a surrogate, if you get my drift. You know, I mean, this is like the most creepiest thing you'll ever see. Let me read it off Deadline for you on this article on here. The A&E reality show Adults Adopting Adults has been abruptly pulled from the network and its streaming outlets. Actually, we haven't seen anything from A&E directly itself. The show was last seen on February 14 and had another show set for February 21st, but the latter didn't air. Speculation as to why the show was suddenly pulled is turning up all sorts of rumors, most of them concerning the unsettling behavior and history of one of the series' star. Adults Adopting Adults was originally scheduled for 10 episodes, which I believe they've already shot this. It's already done, and it was supposed to air. The show premise focused on couples who were interested in taking legal responsibility for other adults. One couple in particular, Christy and Danny Huff, were trying to adopt a 20-year-old Ileana from Austria. The show seems to take toward a dark side when it's revealed that the 59-year-old Danny once tried to adopt an 18-year-old woman, but claimed to have developed romantic feelings for her. Crispy Spector worries that the history was repeating itself. There was also the matter of some resurfaced TikTok videos where Danny made some comments on racial issues. In a statement to the Daily Beast, Danny Huff denied that the reason the show was canceled. I never had any appropriate actions, words, comments, anything to Ileana. See, we've gotten to a point, and like I said, we can go through many of these things, and you look into the perspective, and you say, well, they're helping people, and this and that. Sideshow Carnival is what I bring up every time, because that's what it is. It's a carnival, because you're showing off the low end of people's lives. People want to, when you watch a soap opera, you're in for, I hope he cheats on her, or I hope she cheats on him. I hope he smacks the shit out of her. I hope he kills her. That's the thought processes of the viewers on there. Now, there are some viewers out there that will say, well, I like it for the entertainment purposes, the story and all that, which that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you get to the point is, when have you gone too far when it comes to one of these shows? When have you gotten too far? Because they have gone too far a long time ago. A long time ago. Do you remember that Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew? Do you remember that? And they had all those celebrities on there. They had Rodney King on there, and they had Bridget Nielsen, Gary Busey, Dennis Rodman, I think they had Mini Me. Was Mini Me on this one too? Was it this one or the other one? It's like one of the. There are a couple of them that was similar. China was in this one too. The late China. Um, I mean, there's. This is when it got to the point, you know. And the thing about it is, did you remember why it was canceled? Because they lost the Pasadena place, the rehab center, lost its licensing because of one of the deaths and repeated violations. This is network taking advantage of these situations. This is a constant situation on there. You know, people wanted to get rid of all the cop shows because they didn't agree with the cops and stuff like that. Those were the shows you need on the air. You need to see what really goes on with people, you know, when it's dealing situations on there. You know, people need help. They need, you know, assistance, whether it's medical, or say, for example, they need to be rescued, stuff like that. Shows like that need to be on a constant, you know, prime time, all the time. You know, we need to see these shows on there. I mean, you can go to Pluto TV and see old episodes of Cops. Cops has been around since, since I was, what was it, when it started around about either, was it during high school, at the end of my high school going into college? I mean, you talk about go back to the 80s on that. Still one of the highest rated shows. Now, when you have situations like this frightens me. That a corporation, a broadcast corporation, A&E, allowed a production to bring over someone from Austria. Did they vet this girl? Did they vet this guy? If this guy did it before, you wouldn't think he'd do it again, because it looks like he has problems with his wife. You know, it looks like she's like a cat woman type of. You know, I got my producer and my associate producer. They're cats, but me and my wife, we have a fantastic relationship. Fantastic. This, I mean, there was one episode where she didn't know how to use a coffee maker. Right there, that rings a lot of bells. Coffee maker is like one of the easy or regular basic coffee maker, not the fancy stuff. I mean, the stuff like a Hamilton Beach coffee maker, you know, so, you know, El Cheapo to the situation. That's scary. That is really scary. And if you saw what this girl looks like, she's pregnant, but you know, that's trouble. That starts an actual movie on there. And the thing about it is, if you've heard stories like this is not the first time that you would hear something of this nature, which I'm about to mention. Now, if you remember what year was that movie? 2009. Isabel Fuhrman, and there's a sequel coming out on there. If you haven't seen Orphan, psychological horror, really good, about two parents that Peter Skarsgård and Vera Farmiga, sorry if I mispronounced her name, that they adopt a child from overseas, and a spoiling warning at this moment, the girl turned out to be an adult woman, because she had some disease that basically she didn't grow in age. And that turned horrible. And you say, well, that's a movie on there. No, we've been hearing a couple of stories on there, and some of them have been tragic, and some of them have been not so tragic. Like, for example, Natalia Grace Barnett. If you have heard this, it was in 2019. I'm not. Now we got to get confirmation to this because she's a dwarf. Natalia Grace Barnett. If you heard this story, says she's 16 and not a 33-year-old scam artist. However you want to take this. This was on the Oprah Winfrey Network. She was a Ukrainian orphan who basically was brought over here, and it turned into a nightmare as far as the situation as the foster families on there, which basically, they started beginning to doubt her age. Now whether she is 16 or whether she is 30, that's in itself. But this happens. This is something that does happen on there, and I think there's some more court cases coming onto this. But there have been other stories where basically, though that some of the kids that brought over from overseas, adopted from overseas, turned out to be very dangerous. And the only reason I bring this up is that, hey, listen, I don't know this girl that they got from Austria. She could be a scammer. She could be not. Why would she be adopted out? I mean, was she going to be expected to be paid heavily? She had to sign on the dotted line to agree to be on this reality show, which that's, bizarre in itself that, she would do something like that. But if she needed the money, hey, that happens. That happens. But it's frightening. And when you hear all these stories, whether you believe one or believe the other, or discount, like for example, like Natalia, if you discount her situation because of her dwarfness, or basically discount the whole situation that the Ileana, which is that's the girl's name, I couldn't even think of it, Ileana from the other series, that basically, she was poor living on the streets of Austria, which I was talking to my wife on that, and I say, is it really bad in Austria at that point that there are a lot of girls that are pregnant out there? I mean, don't we have plenty of them here? Why not adopt a child from here? There are plenty of children out there desperately needing adoption. They've either lost the families or the families have given them up. It's a situation. Why go overseas? Why go to other countries, especially countries that, from a technical point of view, the chances are that country could be violating a law. Even if you get a baby, how do you know if the baby wasn't stolen? That's the shocking part about it. I mean, what's going to happen when Ileana's baby is born? I don't even know if it has happened or happened, because she was close to giving birth, as far as what I understand when they brought her to the U.S. What's going to happen with that baby? I mean, they put her in a trailer off to the side. I mean, that's strange in itself. But like I said, this could be the end of the reality show. This could be the beginning. This could be the beginning of the end of the reality show for network TV. And the reason is for stuff like this. People say, well, we got to be edgy. We got to be edgy. You went way over edgy on this.